Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Mike Armstrong podcast show. And this afternoon, we're joined by Ian Magrisso, who is the chief storyteller at Emotive Stories, where they like to build brands through stories. And Ian is based in the sort of northern greater Chicago area of the USA. And we met online speed networking at a great speed networking event on a Thursday evening UK time, afternoon or late morning, it might be US time. But we're going to have a little chat about business and storytelling and networking and all sorts of things. So, how are you doing today, Ian? You okay?
I'm doing great. Yeah, doing awesome. It's kind of an overcast day in Chicago, but since we don't go out that much these days, it really doesn't matter.
No, it does. It does. If you want to get into the sunshine or feel the heat, you just put the heating on another bar.
Uh, but no, it's not. It's beautiful here in Chicago. Though we have a great lake, and so it's nice to go to walk by the lakefront.
Yeah, there's worse places you can live, isn't there? Where but than by a lake or some water. I was living in Cardiff Bay, which is a beautiful place. It's like a man-made barrage, and there's like a lake. It's a bit like a lake, really. It's actually connected to the sea, and they can let the water in, the water out. It's a sea, really. Um, but um, but yeah, I love walking around. A bit of nature in the sunshine. Looking at water, and that to put you in a good reflective mood.
Oh, most definitely, and it's great to. It's not only refreshing, but for the human spirit. But and that's kind of what I'm really all about is humanizing brands and being out in nature uh, is is definitely a passion of mine, and I find it rejuvenating. Certainly, Wales is on my bucket list. I mean, the images I've seen are just so amazing there
Yeah,
at Wales, and I like to go sea kayaking. So sea kayaking in Wales would be a dream of mine.
yeah, it's brilliant. A lot of people come to Wales for outdoor activities. Brecon Beacons, which is the mountain. Coastal paths, and it's like a cycle tracks and all of that. Like beautiful area. And one of our best exports is Sir Tom Jones, which is he plays a lot in Vegas, etc. And he sings about the green, green grass of home. So
No, no, sounds great.
yeah, it's I always describe it to Americans as like Hawaii, but without the sunshine.
Yeah, the pictures I've seen are amazing of the mountains and the views and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Hawaii is equally as beautiful, but it rains a lot in Wales, but then the sun don't come out to dry it up. But in Hawaii, it's very similar to Spain. As soon as it's poured down, the sun comes out and it's all forgotten about again.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of, I mean, it's a rainforest there in Hawaii, so, but it does get sun. But when
Yeah.
it rains, it comes down pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's what. Especially, I'm in the Welsh Valleys. I am, which is the more hillier area, which is where the clouds get pushed up and the rain comes. So I'm in a bit of a wet spot, but that's life. When I was in Cardiff Bay last year, like I said, I was living down there for a while. It's a lower, it's more sea level, and the clouds build a bit further in, so it's more sunnier, So I quite like it there,
Great.
Yeah, brilliant. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, Emotive Stories, your business, and how it come in being, really.
Well, my background has been mainly in marketing and branding. I started out in the client side as a brand manager for a division of Sara Lee, actually selling hot dogs, uh, and uh, and so doing lots of advertising and new product development. And then from there, I went to the agency side and worked at large branding companies. Worked with a lot of just a wide variety of from major food companies to technology companies, and working on branding and messaging. And then I was rebranding a nonprofit, and it's a place called Lamb's Farm, and it's a place where people with developmental disabilities live and work. And they were thinking of changing the name of the farm, Lamb's Farm, because people literally thought it was a farm. There's a barn there, and they have a petting zoo, and people would bring their kids to pet these goats and stuff. But what they didn't realize was the people working at the restaurants were people that were developmentally disabled. So after doing the branding and research and kind of story finding, which really is, the same techniques I use as a brand strategist, or the techniques I use as a, story branding person, is really first starting to find what the heart of the story is. And essentially what, we kind of reposition Lamb's Farm as a place where people grow. And we use that as sort of the core brand idea. And then I wrote 2 films, but there was just enough money to pay me to produce them. And I had never produced a film before. So I decided to teach myself filmmaking, but I always did photography as a kid. And then it's become really a passion. So kind of being hands-on in creating video-based stories, as well as doing sort of brand strategy, has really sort of crystallized the power of story in terms of connecting with individuals, and also the sort of, when you can feel a story, that you've made a connection. And that it's very kind of emotionally based. So when I shoot and edit, I look for things that are authentic and emotionally charged.
Yeah, well, that's what works in getting videos to go viral, is if you can tell a story that one has a rise and fall within it, and a deep level of emotion. Well, then that's what people connect with. It's connecting with people on a human level, and that's where the magic happens. And that's where people start sharing it and stuff, because they've been moved in some way. I've seen some amazing stories of brands told through video, and just amazing. Some of them, if you seem to have disappeared and come back again in the video, but not to worry. We'll see how that goes for a minute. I think it might be a Wi-Fi issue, but are you there, Ian? Okay, there seems to be a Wi-Fi issue at the moment. The joys of real life entrepreneurship, podcasting, and video recording means that sometimes people have Wi-Fi issues and other connectivity issues and interruptions and all of that. Welcome back, Ian. I was just sort of talking through your issues. You got some connectivity issues or Wi-Fi or something?
No, what happened was I used my cell phone as my camera, and I forgot to put it in airplane mode. So it's totally my bad, human error here.
No problem at all. So I won't edit that at all. I like to keep my podcasts and my chats real, keep it real, especially in the day of authenticity, especially in the days of coronavirus and pandemic. The way I look at it is, if ITV, BBC, the news, popular reality TV programs, the American TV, any live TV, if they can't cut out the issues and the mishaps that they have, then why should I? Because, I'm only telling stories just like you. Real stories of real people in real places at real times, and I don't need to edit it, because mistakes is part of humanity, and Wi-Fi drops and Zooms and all of that is part of real life COVID lockdown situations. So fire away with where you was at. Sorry.
Well, authenticity is incredibly important. I mean, people can see through when a story is exaggerated, or if people are using emotion in a way that's really not natural, like they're trying to be emotional, but pull at the heartstrings, but you feel like you're being manipulated by it. And what I've learned from storytelling and from sales is body language is really important. You can tell when someone's genuine and telling the truth, and that's part of the value of effective storytelling. Is it creates trust, and it creates a bond, and so trying to capture people in their most natural kind of emotions is like when you see someone genuinely smile, um, that's authentic. A lot of advertising is, quite frankly, manipulative, meaning, you'll see like a kid like have this great smile when they look at like a McDonald's burger. And what you don't realize is they've got a clown with balloons there. And so the kid is actually smiling at the clown, and they've edited it in such a way so that it connect authentic emotion gets linked to their burger.
Yeah.
And I guess, as being in marketing most of my career, I guess I have a little problem with marketing that is not authentic and that is negative, and tries to play off people's fears. I mean, uh, to some extent, that may be effective in the short run, but I think that from an overall societal standpoint, marketing that connects with people on a not only an authentic basis but on a positive level, that is aspiring. And that's really kind of the stories I want to help tell, is stories that are uplifting, uh, that talk about the positive aspects of a brand and how they benefit humanity, and really, again, humanize brands so that to create true, authentic connection.
Yeah, definitely. And your issues with the marketing industry is the similar issues I had with the sales sector, because I started in sales at 15 as an entrepreneur at 11. So I was a bit of a wheeler and dealer before I went into sales. And then I got taught how to be manipulative, if you like, how to use emotion to sell. And what I quickly learned as I got a bit older is why not to do that. So it takes you, sometimes you have to go through these learning curves yourself, but I actually learned how to stop selling and start providing solutions. So, start giving people what they need rather than what you want from them, or what, which is their cash in exchange for something they may want or need or may not, and you're not bothered by. So that's something which I agree with you 100% on, is like, at the end of the day, I don't believe in manipulating people. I believe in providing them as much value and service as you can. And if that happens to mean that they're interested in what you got to offer, great. And if not, well, at least you've done your job. So yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And that's why I don't edit my stuff and all of that sort of stuff as well, because, what the edited version isn't what happened. What happened is what happened. So I'm documenting a process of networking and follow up and communication and networking and service and helping people and all of that sort of stuff. So for me, it's about just putting that authentically, out there into the internet, and whatever will be, will be. Life during the COVID period and the pandemic wasn't perfect. People dropped off of their Zoom, people fell out of the platform, whatever happened. But, it's just what happened.
And I've spent a fair amount of my career selling for large agencies and doing new business development, but I've always sold through stories as well. I mean, certainly solutions are important, but stories are a great way to kind of communicate those solutions,
Yeah.
and giving people sort of a background of a client success story, for example, and kind of bringing it to life in a way that not only tells what you did and what the situation was before, but how it made your clients feel, and how the pride that they felt with the achievements that they were able to make, or just bringing that story vividly, that makes it much more memorable. And it also helps people connect the solution with how ultimately they want to feel in the end.
Yeah, definitely. And that was a big part of solution selling. I've always done verticals as well. So a big part of it was, what the problems were elsewhere, what the solutions were, and why that would therefore also benefit you, because, you're going for the same problem. So sometimes, for example, a good way of solution selling is selling to people they don't even know they got the problem. You know what I mean? So it's education solution selling. So sometimes people, they don't realize they got a problem, but someone else already identified it and solved it. And then sometimes you go back to the rest of the marketplace or the industry, and you actually Let's explain what happened and what the process was, and why therefore it could also benefit them too. So that was a big part of the way that I managed my corporate sales team and worked within that structure too.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. It was awesome. It was a hell of a ride. It was a really good ride actually, because I started at a tech startup business, which just took on 40 staff through a grant, and then I was part of the journey that grew, see them grow to 25 staff, and to go from no turnover to 25 million turnover in 10 years. And I was running the corporate sales team for 8 of those 10 years. I turned my team from 300 grand to 5.7 million in 8 years. So, fast growth,
And how did that make you feel?
Well, it made me feel like I was uh, valuable, really. I was able to help lots of businesses because the only way we were able to grow was by providing solutions to other businesses. So it made me feel awesome. It made me feel good that I was helping and having an impact on the UK business community.
And and that story is part of your personal brand, and stories. In terms of business stories can help sell your service, but personal branding stories can also help sell your company, and also be if you're looking for a job or employment, those are the types of stories that connect with prospective employers. So I think that stories, in my opinion, help make the medicine go down, sort of like the Mary Poppins thing. And it also makes people want to listen and to kind of feel the emotion, and certainly it makes it much more memorable. So a story can be very sticky.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I'm on a mission to become a global speaker, so I can get on the big stages of the world and help and serve entrepreneurs en masse. Because I know I'm capable of doing so, and I know I don't mind helping one person at a time, but I'd rather have a bigger impact and leave a larger legacy. So my story, so I'm perfecting my stories at the moment, my life stories, into a toolkit and a toolbox of content that I can use and pull out in the right situations, in the right time, in the right places, on platforms all around the world, which is why we met at the Speed Network event in America, which is a global event, with people dipping in everywhere. I'm just trying to put my tentacles in every part of the world right now and connect with people on a human level, tell them stories in order so I can get them to put me on stages, or introduce me to people who can put me on stages where I can tell more stories. So, I think we're both in the story game.
Yeah, well, I think, future, being able to visualize your future and have a future story that you tell yourself, like you obviously have a goal and a vision of where you want to be. And, and having that future story is certainly key to driving success. So I think that story also can be a personal motivator. And I think we all know the power, of visualization. You see that in athletes. And that, especially the more deep you can go into visualization, where you can feel the emotions, the sounds, the sense, whatever will feel like when let's say you're on that stage, and what it's going to feel like, and certainly is a motivator that helps drive success.
Yeah, definitely. And, visualization, moving into manifestation, moving into strategization, and moving into massive action taking. That's sort of my approach is, I dream it, I believe it, I visualize it, I manifest it. So I put it out there in the universe and tell other people about it, even on recorded content, so I commit myself to it. I open it up to other people to commit me to it and to also engage with it, which is more likely to manifest it in the first place, and also more likely to for it to be pulled off. And then obviously I take massive action in the continuous direction in order to achieve it.
That's awesome. And how has COVID impacted that? Has it helped propel that, or it certainly puts you probably on a more global stage?
Yeah, and I think COVID sort of accelerated my growth pattern quite substantially because it took me from going UK-wide networking to global-wide networking. And then this Clubhouse app, which has I just been on it now for 10 days or 11 days, has actually, I think, 10x'd the time I can take to get to where I want to. So I had like a 10-year plan to get to where I want to get to. I actually think a year on Clubhouse could get me to where I wanted to get to.
Oh, that's exciting. I have to look into that.
Yeah, it's basically like so LinkedIn I've been using for 20 years. I use that as my primary platform, and then all other platforms around it. Obviously, I podcast and I YouTube as well, so they're pretty primary as well. But for communication to people direct, if you like, rather than just putting it out there and seeing what comes, bit of inbound marketing. So direct communication, I was using LinkedIn, and now I'm hardly using LinkedIn at all. I'm doing like one post a day in the morning, and that's it, because Clubhouse is so much better than LinkedIn. So I just put all my time and resource into what's producing the best results. And Clubhouse is because it's audio. You speak to people rather than text them or communicate. So everything happens at a much faster rate, especially if you're authentic and you've got a genuine story and you've got a genuine mission and you know your mission, your vision, and your values. So basically, it's just like the place to be to get those genuine connections and to build really, really good relationships. But it's also in tandem with that, one of the best places to network. So I'm a storyteller, an educator, and a motivator, and an inspirer. But I'm also a networker, and I'm also a massive, ambitious speaker. And so all of those three things is what Clubhouse is all about. So it's like the perfect storm, like,
Great. That's awesome. Uh, so I know that you've made quite a presence on the networking group that we're on. That I know that your name comes up, and you're certainly very visible and memorable.
Yeah, well, that's all part of again, like yourself, I've been in marketing sales for a long time. It's all part of the strategy, if you like. But the strategy is to be the authentic me that I am, but just to raise it to the top level that it needs to be to hit the top flight, the top, to hit the Super Bowl, So it's the authentic me. It's the best sides of the authentic me that needs to be shown and on display, take part in the Super Bowl and be in the game with a chance to win, or even to go and win, because winning is depends on, what your goal is and whatever. For me, I want to get onto the global platform so I can help as many entrepreneurs on the planet. I also want to come up with an awesome monetization system because I'm not after money. That's not the reason I'm doing it. What I'd like to do is help as many up and coming young entrepreneurs as possible to take their path into their own destiny and take their life into their own hands. I'd like to give them some seed money, be a proper angel investor rather than one who's trying to profiteer on them through growing their business portfolio. And what I want to do is just give them some seed money, give them the most important thing, which is personal development, business development, experience, lessons from life, and actually send them on their way with the tools that they need to achieve what they want to achieve, rather than to be one of the statistics that 90% of businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Well, I do think that, in terms of being an entrepreneur and starting out, that, a lot of entrepreneurs think, okay, I need a website, right, to start doing business. And I actually think that it starts with owning your story first. I mean, first of all, if you have a story, then you can start selling and you can start talking to people and having conversations. And if you're connecting with people with authentic conversations, you may or may not even need a website. Now, I certainly think a website's a good start, but doing one without being confident and clear on what your story is doesn't do anybody any good. So I think that all kind of marketing and entrepreneurship it starts with being very clear on what your story is and and how your story can benefit others.
Yeah, definitely. You can get by with a Facebook page sometimes. You can get by with with a blog. You can get by with a Google My Business listing or a Yelp listing or a Craigslist, a Gumtree list. There's loads of ways to start a business. There's loads of ways of connecting with people and getting found. You can just get some business cards and go networking. But the effect won't be as good as if you had a website because people will check you out on your website first or whatever. You could survive on a LinkedIn page. There's all sorts of places that you can put yourself out there before you have to start spending money and investing. And so many people get caught out. I do a bit of web design for people and that sort of thing. And so many people, they pay a website not knowing what their growth's going to look like. And then in a couple of years' time, they have to vacate their website because it's not adaptable enough to be able to deal with the new things that they're doing or the new functionality they need or all that sort of thing. The problem I have with knowledge and information is people don't know what they don't know. It's a problem everybody has, and so that's why it's required for people who do know what people don't know to educate them with the stuff they don't know. Because if you've been there selling, got the T-shirt, you know what they don't know, and you know what you had to learn. And I think, for me, there's not enough entrepreneur training in schools and stuff like that. So I want to pick up the pieces, if you like, of that and actually help people understand what they don't know, give them the help and the advice and the information. The money, if I got the money, but for now I already do that. I'm a philanthropic entrepreneur that will give my time, I'll give my information, I'll give my energy, I'll give my motivation, I'll give my skills and experience, I'll give my sharing of their content, I'll give whatever I got to help them. But I know I can help so many more people if I build up a trust fund. So, I'm going to build up a fund at some point and help these people. But in the meantime, I just help them, as I don't have the funds, I just help them in any other way I can, which actually, with the old parable of you give someone a fish and they'll eat for a day, you teach them to fish and they'll eat for a lifetime. What I'm giving people is more valuable than money because it's the skills to go fishing.
Yeah, well, sometimes not knowing what you don't know um, can be an advantage, meaning that the biggest enemy, I think, for entrepreneurs is fear. And sometimes you'll see, and I think younger people that may not have all the experience, but they have no fear. And in certain ways, when you have less to lose, you don't have like a family or a home, that's a great time to start out as an entrepreneur, or even later in life, once you've put aside enough money and you have less risk. But I guess at any point, a matter of jumping in smartly and reducing risk so that you can make good decisions. I think that risk and fear, or certainly fear, makes people make good decisions that are often too conservative.
Yeah, definitely. It limits people and holds them back. I agree 100%. That's one of the messages I'm trying to put out there right now to the young entrepreneurs. And it's hard to reach them because I'm not in their demographics. I'm probably not on their social media platforms. I'm on the ones with the old, with us older people. But the youngsters, I want to get out there and explain to them right now that COVID is the best time for them to build a business. Especially if they're young, they've got no family commitments or whatever, especially if they've been laid off. Because they might not get a job for a while. So just open up your smartphone that cost a lot of money and somebody bought for you and you can get it to work for you, because everything you need to do to build a business is right there in the palm of your hands.
That's true. The resources that people have today are just amazing compared to when I first started out in my career. And just the speed of whichever information moves, and to be able to go out and do a survey monkey and get feedback incredibly quickly, or just go out on LinkedIn or social media and ask questions and find resources and contacts. It's just amazing what's out there, and
Exactly.
And some people are just very adept at using that and using it to connect and get the help they need, because it's close by if you just ask.
Yeah,
And so that's I think that's another thing you see is having the courage and the wisdom to ask the universe for what you want and need. That it's just like in sales. If you don't ask for the order, you're not going to get the close, right? So you see people like they want to do like a website, but about their art or something, but they're not why are you putting that website out there? You obviously want something. Do you want to have connections? Do you want to talk to people? But letting people know what you want is the kind of the start of, and being able to receive, I think, is also important for entrepreneurs. I
yeah,
certainly think giving is incredibly important. And the more you give, the more you're going to receive, and understanding that balance. And that's where, with content marketing and putting out true value, what I find, I guess I have a problem with some of the content marketing is that it just feels so manipulative. And like once I feel like, okay, now I'm on somebody's funnel, uh, it feels like, they have a strong intent to try to you know take me down this funnel and eventually close me. And like they do, when I see like emails with headlines like I apologize or I'm sorry, and it's just a way to grab your attention when they're really not sorry at all, and they really haven't done anything that deserves apology to me. It just feels like I'm being manipulated. And
yeah. Yeah, I use some of those headlines, but not disingenuinely. So I'll use the attention grabbing headlines, but always in a way that's relevant to the recipient. Yeah, because they are useful headlines, and but I don't think disingenuous headlines will ever give you the results you require, because people will feel manipulated again. So it's all about But if, for example, instead of saying something like sorry, I've used to say something like, I have a free gift for you or something, which I've used before. And then you actually put a gift in the actual email. So it's sort of it's genuine and it's authentic. Then the actual grabbing the attention thing can work in the ability to give people the gift. And obviously, if you've got a really good gift that's offering them value, then you owe it to yourself, if you like, to put a good title on there, which means they're going to go open it and actually get the value that you're offering them. So again, if you do your sales and your marketing from a place of truth and from a heart-centered approach, then you can use some of these, if you like, clever tactics. But these clever tactics help you to serve others rather than serve yourself, which is what some of the disingenuous ones are looking to do. They're looking to just grab an attention and then fleece you for cash.
yeah, well, I agree with you. I think that's great. It's you certainly a headline and being able to grab somebody's attention um, is is incredibly important. And whatever you do in marketing, you want to, if you're going to spend the time doing it, you might as well increase your effectiveness.
Yeah, definitely. That's why I've got a success formula, which is called STREAMS, and it stands for systems, technology, relationships, efficiency, action, marketing, and sales. And the efficiency part of it is massive to me, because that was part of my fast growth in the corporate world that I talked to you about earlier. And if you can do things more efficiently, it gives you more time to do more things. So it allows you to impact and serve more people. And so for me, if you can get more results, if you can wring the cloth better by being more sophisticated with what you do, and it allows you to be more efficient, which means you have more time, do even more of the serving and the helping and the growing that you want to do. So it all sort of goes round in a big snowball effect, really, over time.
Well, it's awesome that we have all these tools and ability to connect. I mean, it's just amazing that you're like on, across the Atlantic Ocean, and we can connect, and the amount of, uh, I guess, similar things that we're facing right now, and our, the way business is being done. It's really becoming almost like one language.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So, do you have an Emotive Stories channel?
I have just my website. If that's I've videos up on my website, and
Yeah.
so I'm actually looking at some making some modifications and to my website and kind of rethinking my story.
Yeah. Is it a well-ranked website? Do people come on the videos and watch them a lot, or could it do with a bit of help in that area?
Uh, I'm getting, some views, but I wouldn't say it's like, as, certainly could use more help. Yeah.
Yeah,
In that
okay. Well,
area.
that's something I could help you with. So we'll have a chat off here if you like. Unless you wanted to have a chat now, I'm okay either way. I don't mind
Yeah. Yeah.
demonstrating.
Then off air would be good. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And also there was a question I was going to ask is, if you've got a lot of good video content, some good stories, was there a particular reason why you haven't created a YouTube channel and shared some of
I might have like I don't know if it's a YouTube. I do have like, I'm putting most of my stuff on Wistia and I have some stuff on YouTube. Uh, I haven't put out a lot of content and, for some reason I'm more comfortable behind the camera than I am in front of the camera.
Yeah, well,
And,
if you ever wanted somebody to front an ad for you in front of the camera, I think you should put your story. What you should do is demonstrate your ability to tell your own story, put it into YouTube, and then lots of other people who want to tell their story in a similar way or get inspired by your story would actually come to you then to actually say, oh, listen, I loved your story. How can you tell my story? And I think it would get you business. So that would be my bit of advice and help that I can see straight away. That's what I would demonstrate to you is some value. And that's what I would advise you to do, because YouTube is the biggest platform for people to engage with video producers and to listen to and hear their stories.
yeah, that's true for sure. And I mean, it's an amazing search engine and the use of videos. I know I gravitate towards videos, and for content. I like to see and hear how things work.
Yeah. But
And
also it's a great how-to platform to work out how things work. And I think you would be amazing on that platform for helping people to explain maybe, but for people who aren't going to invest in other people to write and video their stories and produce them, etc. And they're going to do it themselves. Well, you can offer value by actually advising them how to do that better, how to construct their story, how to engage in their story, and all of that. And actually, a lot of those young entrepreneurs need that help and advice. And when they build their business up a bit, they'll come back to you because of the value that you demonstrated to them when they were just getting going.
awesome. Well, some great ideas. Yeah, thank you.
No problem at all. Like I say, I do like to help people, and I believe I have the knowledge and the information and the creativity to help anybody on this planet. That's not just an entrepreneur, but I know I can help all of them, but actually just anybody, because, luckily enough, I've had a passion for learning my entire life. I was pretty academic in school, grade A students in a lot of subjects. I've had a thirst for learning ever since. I've gone through the whole personal development journey and listened to some of the best educators and practitioners on the planet in some of the areas that I like to learn about. I have a thirst for information and data and knowledge. I've been blogging for 15 years and getting content on multiple platforms of blogs, multiple platforms of social media. I'm on Twitter and places like that all the time. I listen to the podcast. I'm a big consumer of information, and I'm quite good at panning for the gold, if you like. Cutting through all the BS and finding the real meaning and the real gold, and therefore I'm able then to pass that on to people, and maybe not actually have to pass it on in a way where people have to pan for gold, because some people will miss the gold and run off with the mud ring or the mud piece, and miss the main bits,
Yeah, well, I have a similar passion for learning and digesting knowledge. The what I find interesting is that a lot of entrepreneurs are working in a vacuum and are solo, and so having a community to bounce ideas off, like I'm really good at helping others with their story, but I may not be as good at doing it for myself. It's sort of the cobbler making their own shoes story. And so it's always good to have somebody kind of to bounce ideas and kind of push you, and some things that may, seem obvious to others, are things, that that are right in front of you. It's sort of like, like when you're live in a place, you may not see all the spots that a tourist may see,
Yeah,
just because you don't feel that pressure to,
yeah,
or just so it's right there in front of you that it may not stand out.
yeah.
And that's where
Sometimes
we
you
can
can't
all
see the
support
wood.
each other.
Yeah, sometimes you can't see the wood through the trees.
Exactly. So it's really helpful to build a community, and like that, and what you're doing with the blogging and is awesome.
Yeah, lovely. And I've actually just, from all of my global networking, I've funneled, if that's the right word, um, drawn in some of the best people I've met around the world who are involved in communications. And I put them into a mastermind group called Strong Communicators. And we all meet at 2 o'clock UK time on a Sunday. So it's a once a week event where we all learn off each other and the power of the compound effect of the learning by osmosis and multiple diversified experiences. Because although the key thing for me to bring people into that platform is that they're communicators in a professional way. The second thing is that they are people who've gone through the personal development journey or are on it or are interested in it. And also that they want to help and serve others. That's the key bit. And so I don't charge for my mastermind. I just put it together because the value comes from the information, the connectivity, the compound effects, all of these things, the team, the camaraderie, the upliftingness. There's so many benefits that are intangible, if you like, but are valuable. That it's a really good forum for people to meet in, and that it's not ideally timed for America all of the time at 2 o'clock. If you're East Coast, it's pretty early, but if you're in the middle or West Coast, it's not too bad. And I've got plenty of podcasters in my community, as well as global networkers, speakers, coaches, influencers, all of these sort of people. And actually, I'm going to be growing it quite substantially now. I'm on Clubhouse because Clubhouse is full of all of these people. So it's full of all of my real hot avatar. I've got my big avatar is entrepreneurs. My bigger avatar is people. But my niche avatar is heart-centered people, heart-centered entrepreneurs, and awesome communicators. Involved in getting messages out there in whichever platform that may be, whether it be blogging or press or radio or presenting or TV or whatever the community may be. And so the reason I mentioned that to you as well is if you want to join us one Sunday,
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to have you on board because you're a strong communicator. You use stories to tell your thing, to tell your messages, etc., or to tell other people's messages more so in your case. But you also provide a different angle because I haven't got anyone else who does video and stories and all of that. So therefore, everyone else in the room would get the benefit from you. And you also would get the benefit from the fact that they all probably would want to tell their stories over video at some point. So,
Yeah, I'm doing an experiment now with somebody in Japan, and helping him create a story. So I'm going to interview him over Zoom,
there's that Tim.
and yeah,
Yeah, thought it
and
might have
then
been.
help it. What?
I thought
Yeah,
it might have been.
yes. I'm going to help him like edit the story and then coach him on how to shoot the B-roll himself using like an
Yeah.
iPhone,
Well,
and then put it together.
I'll extend this offer to you. I haven't got a lot of money myself at the moment to make a video, but if you wanted to make a video of my story and put your contact information and details on there so I could share the backside out of it and really help promote and drive people to you and your brand and that, I'll put it out there. It's in the universe now. It's up to you to decide whether that's something you could entertain or not. But I see it as being a win-win deal. I'm out there communicating my story to loads of people. And if people ask me, how did I put that video together, which was impactful and which really told your story in a great, deep and meaningful way, or whatever they say to me, then to me that would be an awesome lead generation system for you. Because my answer would be, well, it was Ian at Emotive Stories that created that for me. And didn't he do a good job? And would you like his contact information to do such a good job with yourself?
Great. Yeah. Well, let's do that.
Okay. So yeah, you let me know what you need from me, or if you direct me to a form or some, whatever you
Yeah.
do, let me see your process, etc. As a connector of people and somebody who's involved in sales and marketing and strategizing, etc., it's right up my street, storytelling and video production and marketing, etc. So once I understand your process and I've gone through it anyway, then I can advise other people about how good the process was, or if it wasn't very good, I would just recommend them to I wouldn't advise anyone on it. I just say speak to Ian and go through the process. But I know you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, and it would be a great process and a good production. Like I know that, which is why I put the thing out there in the universe, because I've got a story to tell. You've got a way of me telling it, so it's a platform. I'm not really telling my story in right now, and by me telling my story, I know it will get other people to want to tell their story as well.
Yeah, well, I like to show other sides of people and not make it, make it a story that can inspire others,
Yeah,
and but also show kind of the personal sides and real struggles and like pivotal moment of
yeah,
that impact somebody.
yeah.
So
Well,
part of it kind of goes into kind of like some starting with like first of all process of finding the story and really talking more deeply about like what do you do off work, really learning a whole lot more about you as a
yeah.
person than we
Well,
could do
I've
right
got a
now.
good story as well, though. I've written a book about my story. Actually, I haven't published it yet, but
Mhm.
there's a reason why I do what I do and the way that I do it, and that's my story.
Awesome. Well, if you could send that on to me, I'll take a look. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have
Okay.
like a
Brilliant.
PDF of it or anything
I've got it
that's
all in
in,
a Word document somewhere, like ready to upload to Amazon when I feel the timing's right.
awesome.
Yeah.
Sounds
So.
like you've been busy.
Oh yeah, in lockdown last year. I wrote a book in one day. Yeah, I went back to it and added some background information and some learnings from it. But I wrote my story in one day, my life story, which has my main story obviously embroiled within it, but my life story. And then I wrote 7 poems in 7 days, which I haven't done since I was 11. And God knows why or how I wrote them, but I just wrote them. So he'll tell you why. And it come out to me, and I just wrote a poem a day for 7 days. 5 of them were about coronavirus, and one of them was about overcoming a wall or an obstacle, and the other one was about how to form a diamond through intense pressure. So they just come out to me for some reason. And then, so I wrote my book. I've done those 7 poems in 7 days, and I started a podcast, and I'm currently up to about 850 episodes on that
Well, if you
podcast.
can send me those poems, maybe one of them is a basis of a story right there.
Yeah, potentially, I think so. Yeah, I got a lot of stuff I can send you, and there's a lot of information to go on with. And I think if we can make a super impactful, inspirational story, and it's going to help me get where I want to get to, it'll help you get where you want to get to, and it'll help lots of the listeners and viewers get to where they want to get to. So it's like a win-win-win all around, which you can't fail with a win-win-win.
Awesome.
Well, it was great to connect with you on a deeper level. I know we've been networking for a while now, but it is speed networking, so you don't always have the time to delve deeper. But I feel we've done that. So thank you very much for turning up authentically and putting your life and your past and your plans and your future and everything else onto record for people to learn from and see, and just keep being awesome at creating magical stories.
Well, thank you so much, Mike. It's been great getting to know you more, and uh, you know, we get kind of short blurbs of time moments on the speed networking. So it's nice to have a more extended conversation with you. And thanks again for having me on your podcast. And any way I could help any of your viewers, they can reach me at ian@emotivestories.com. And just happy to help.
And you're on LinkedIn as well, aren't you? So
I'm in LinkedIn as well. Yes.
yeah, so Ian Magrisso, and I guess there's probably not too many of them, so people will be able to find you quite easy, which is good.
Yeah, there's, I think I'm the only Ian Magrisso. There's a bunch of other Magrissos out there, but
Yeah,
I'm,
and keep an eye out for YouTube, etc., because Ian will be on YouTube soon as well. Just
I have a few things on YouTube, yeah, but not
okay, good.
always the stuff I want. Thanks.
Yeah, all
But
right.
yeah,
All
my
right, then.
website's the best place to view the stuff, but I will be working on YouTube. Thank
Brilliant,
you.
brilliant. Thanks a lot for your time, and I
Appreciate
look
it.
forward to seeing you again soon.
Great. Thanks, Mike.
Yes,
Have a great
bye.
day.